With Cablevision's Meet the Leaders. Joining me right now is Watertown Republican State Representative Eric Berthel. He is a representative of the 68th House District comprising Watertown and Woodbury. Beautiful towns there in the Naugatuck Valley. Eric,
Thanks,
good
Jeff.
to have you with us.
Nice to be back. Thanks for having me.
You bet. You're in your first term now, and this is all new to you, getting a budget passed. It's not done yet. I know the people are breaking out the power bars. They're brewing the coffee, a lot of late nights in the past couple of weeks, and it has yet to be voted on yet. Let's talk about that first up. This has been, according to one of your House colleagues across the aisle in the Democratic Party, one of the worst sessions in terms of getting a budget passed that she can remember. Let's get your feelings on it.
Sure. You know, we've heard, as a freshman, it's my first time, as you mentioned, for having to look at a budget and potentially vote on a budget if we actually get one before midnight tomorrow night. But yeah, we've heard a lot of that this is arguably one of the worst sessions that we've endured in modern times with respect to budgets, and arguably, Jeff, one of the worst budgets that we've seen. At least what we learned about yesterday, that apparently fell apart as the news broke statewide and nationwide about General Electric and their threat to pull out of Connecticut,
along with Travelers and Aetna.
And Travelers and Aetna, and you know, we've learned this morning there may actually be a couple of other companies. We learned about Sikorsky making an announcement today about 1,400 layoffs down in the valley. So the news is bleak. It's not good, and I think we have a responsibility to address this in the 35 hours that remain. If the budget's not ready and we end up in a special session, then so be it. But we have a responsibility, and the Democrats have a responsibility to bring forth a budget for the people of our great state that works, that doesn't continue to attack the middle class and continue to drive businesses like General Electric, Aetna, Travelers away from our beautiful state. These are names that have been in Connecticut for as long as anyone can remember.
Well, some are saying, at least in one of those, General Electric, that again, quoting one of your colleagues, that they don't pay taxes in Connecticut and that there needs to be accountability for all these companies to pay their fair share. Is that an issue? You
know, I'll tell you what, I'm not versed on what General Electric's tax payments are with respect to their corporate taxes, okay? But I will say this, they pay $70 million a year in property tax to the town of Fairfield. They move out, the $70 million goes with them. They pay over $100 million a year in payroll taxes to the state of Connecticut. If they're not employing people in Connecticut, those payroll taxes go away.
Yep.
So I think there are some real dollars. With respect to what General Electric does and the taxes they pay on the profits that they make, I'm not well versed enough on that to comment on it.
Nope, okay. And again, being a freshman legislator, Eric, you don't have a lot to compare this to, but how has it been for you trying to grab hold of the fast-moving train and get all this? And your colleague, Representative Case, brought the budget document by. It's a 1-inch thick document.
It is.
With a big clip on it, and you've got to read through all that and try to dissect what you can in the next 30 hours to vote on it.
Yeah,
How do you feel
absolutely.
about
And
that?
actually, the vote would most likely occur sometime today. So, so the window of time is actually a lot shorter. What is truly wonderful about the House Republican Caucus here in Hartford and in our great state is that the senior members of our caucus, our leadership, the people that have been here longer than I have, and the other 17 or so freshmen, we can rely and lean upon those colleagues to help us get through some of the nitty-gritty, and we've done that all session. It's I would argue go to the mat with anyone that we have the best caucus of any state legislature anywhere. Really.
Eric, bringing it home to Watertown, Woodbury, your 68th House District, what's going on there that you'd like to touch on in the last minute or so we have?
Sure, Jeff, real quick. I think that one of the big concerns for me with this budget is the continued strangulation of hospitals in Connecticut. The Democrats continue to look at opportunities to take more money in tax dollars away from our hospitals. Hospitals are a critical part of the safety net in our community. They're a huge part of the economic engine in Connecticut. They employ thousands of people. The more that we put this stranglehold on these hospitals, the more they're going to have to reduce services and ultimately reduce the number of people they employ. That is bad medicine for the 68th. It's bad medicine for the people of Greater Waterbury, and we need to make sure that we help the hospitals and not continue to hurt them.
If you had your druthers, what would you change in this budget right now?
the hospital piece would be one, and the property tax, the elimination of the property tax credit, the $100 elimination. That is not good for the middle class. To take $100 away from every person may not seem like a lot, but when you add it up, it's a huge impact on our environment, on our economy.
Sure.
And all of the middle class who are working and paying this huge tax bill.
Final minute, Representative Berthel, if you would. Education Committee, you're on that. What's going on there?
Education, we had some good things happen. Yesterday, we passed a very quiet piece of legislation in the House that will require the State Department of Education to create curriculum regarding financial literacy for high school students. This is a wonderful, wonderful thing that we've added. It's not a mandate. The boards of education locally can choose to take up this curriculum, this subject matter, but it's great that we're offering it to them so that our high schools can bring financial literacy to juniors and seniors and better prepare them for the real world. It's good stuff.
I wish I was taught in high school how to balance a checkbook.
Me too.
With that, we've got a break. Representative Berthel, thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Very good to see you again. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Our guest has been the Republican State Representative Eric Berthel of the 68th House District, comprising Watertown and Woodbury. I'm Jeff Zeiner at the State Capitol in Hartford with Cablevision's Meet the Leaders.